Welcome to the Deep End at its finest, discussing life's tough experiences and admiring the resilience through those hardships. Today, our guest is Cory Greenway. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you came. You drove 12 hours to get here.
Yes.
Incredible.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes.
It's good to be back in my home state. I might live in South Carolina, but it's nice. Every time I come back to PA, going through the southern fields down there. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Very familiar and yeah. Awesome. And I'm just, your travels were kind to you overall?
Yeah, I saw all those storms on my way up and just seemed to find my way around every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I drove in the sun from the moment the sun came up.
Oh, that's the way to do it. Get out there early.
Oh,
awesome. Yeah. Well, your story is a water tubing accident that was attached to the back of a boat. And you were thrown off and your body was, in some sense, ruined and you were rehabilitated. So we're going to go down that journey. Can you tell me a little bit about prior to the accident? What were you doing? Prior to that, what was your upbringing like? And brothers, sisters, all of that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was a pretty average lifestyle. I grew up in the Pocono Mountains, rural town, and I had one brother, older brother, the younger of two. He was 2 years older than me, and my dad was real big into motorsports, so we were dirt bikes, quads, ATVs, four-wheelers, whatever you call them.
I know that life. It's a great life. Yeah.
Yeah. Skiing on the slopes, working from a young age. My dad taught me to have a job. As soon as somebody would hire me, I pretty much had a job and I was working. I mean, middle class family, very normal.
Yeah. And mom was there?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Let's not forget about her.
Yeah. She's my rock. I love my mom. I was a mama's boy growing up.
Yeah.
I'm very close to my dad now and my mom as well.
Yeah.
But growing up, I definitely kind of swayed towards more mom.
Yeah.
My mom was definitely there.
Awesome.
And very average family, great upbringing, graduated high school, went to college on Long Island, worked out there for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned work and that was kind of instilled with you. Before your accident, what were you doing for work?
So my life brought me to Charlotte, North Carolina, made my way down there. And I was working for a company that I'm not going to say the name of, but it was a internet service provider.
Okay.
I was working in the call center. I was a supervisor and just paying the bills. You know, I tried some things career-wise right out of college. It didn't work. It was kind of the backup plan. And the days leading up to the accident was just completely normal.
Yeah.
I had met some friends living in Charlotte, and my parents lived on a lake in South Carolina. And we said, hey, let's go. We had done it a bunch of times before. We said, let's go down to the lake for the weekend and just kind of unwind and get out of the city. And
What part of the weekend was it? You got down there on the Friday and went out on what day?
It was a holiday weekend. Mm-hmm. And it was Labor Day. It was Labor Day at the end of summer.
Yes,
I always
that's
get
right.
confused with Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And so it was Labor Day weekend. We got down there on Friday night after work. We drove down late. And this was Saturday morning. I mean, we had Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We were going to be there the whole weekend. And it was Saturday morning, just waiting. We were waiting for other people to get to the lake house. And we were bored. It was about 10:30 in the morning. And we just looked at each other and said, why don't we just go tube or something like that? Let's just kill some time.
Yeah.
And that's when it all happened. I mean, it wasn't a negligence thing. It wasn't a drinking thing. Everybody was sober. It was just a complete, no one at fault
freak accident
that happened. I call it the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Everything, there were a bunch of different factors that came into play that put us where we were at that moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a huge advocate of everything happens for a reason, even
I am
the hard
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
And
it comes so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so you went out and your two friends were with you? Was your brother there yet in the boat? Okay.
So my brother lives in California.
Okay.
So he wasn't there. We had two of my friends. We had another one of my friends that was on the way. One of my friends' parents that live in Charlotte, they were on their way down.
Yeah.
It was going to be a whole big thing. So it
You
was
popped out into the water.
3 of us on the tube.
Yeah.
I was in the middle.
Uh-huh.
I was the heaviest at the time. I was weight training, so I was close to 200 pounds and about 2.5 inches taller than I am now after the accident. And
You lost inches.
yeah.
Wow. We'll dip into that.
Yeah. So I was sitting in the middle, and my two buddies were on either side of me.
And you'd only met one of them 4 months prior to?
Yeah. So I met him about 4 months, and we just became fast friends. A lot of similar interests. We had very similar work schedules, and we found ourselves around each other all the time.
Yeah.
And he had 2 street bikes, and I used to ride street bikes. So we used to take the bikes out, go to the pool, just, and he's a really great guy. One of those people that you after meeting him, you're like, man, I wish I met you years ago so I could have had more memories with him when we were younger.
Yes.
Because I was in my late 20s by the time I met him.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so I met him. The other one I had known for a couple of years. We met through ex-acquaintances of ours that
Interesting.
we were no longer friends with either of them, but we just kept in touch.
Yeah.
We still keep in
Love
touch
that.
to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one that was on the tube, I'm sorry, that one I just spoke about was one that didn't make it there. He just came into my brain out of nowhere. He was like the third member of the party. Me and those two guys were together more. But the other one that was on the tube, he actually was family friends from way back in the day.
Oh, wow.
His parents and my parents knew each other.
Yes.
And our lives.
Longevity there.
Yeah, they happened to cross paths again. And we just went out, and I mean, we weren't even going fast. We were on our way to going fast. It was a slow speed accident, but it was just the perfect point of impact.
Yeah.
And it was a tube you sit on instead of lay on.
Oh, interesting.
Which I had never been on before.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger setup, almost like a couch.
But it almost seems that would be more safe.
You would think that, but then you also have to take into consideration when you're laying, your weight spread out. So when you're sitting, all of my weight is in the balls of my buttocks. So I'm sitting like it's more weight at one point, so it makes you deeper in the water.
Okay.
So so had we been laying on a tube, would it have happened? Who knows?
You don't know.
Yeah, and I don't sit here wondering that all the time.
Yeah.
But it is something in the beginning I thought of. I was like, man, if I was laying on that tube like I always was, would it have been different, or would it have been worse?
Yeah, well, we don't know, but let's think about it for a second. So, clear skies, gorgeous day.
Beautiful day.
Everybody had breakfast, hopped out on the boat as you're waiting for everybody, and sitting on the tube, clowning around probably a little bit. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And the driver takes off, and you're just getting up speed. Do you know what happened for sure? Do you know if it hit something because the weight was down like that? Or
so I only know what was told to me.
Okay.
So the driver wasn't even. So in a boat, for those of you out there that don't know, the boat, when a boat gets up to speed, it gets up on plane. So it's basically skipping on the top of the water. And that's usually above 18, 20, 24, depending upon the size of the boat. You have to get going pretty quick. The boat wasn't even up on plane yet. So it just goes to show how slow of an accident this was. And do I know exactly what happened? No. So what was told to me afterwards was that the damage to the tube was on the bottom of the tube. We don't know what it made contact with. The lake is a man-made lake from back in the 20s or the 30s, I want to say.
Okay.
Lake Murray, South Carolina. I want to say it was 30s.
Yeah.
So it's a man-made lake. They had to clear a lot of timber to make the lake. So some people speculated that it was an old tree stump. The level of the lake was low that day. So that's one of those factors I said that made it a perfect storm. There's a lot of timber that floats. It actually sank. And then over time, it gets its buoyancy back and it comes back to the surface. And it could have been that. If one, it's shallow enough there, you can't stand, but it's shallow enough there that if a timber were kind of like stuck in the mud,
Yeah.
and we came along at the right, it could have been one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. Fortunately,
Wow. Was it a pontoon boat? What kind of boat was it?
It was like I think it was a 20-foot bow rider.
Okay.
They call it a bow rider. So it didn't have a hull. You sit in front of it. I think the occupancy was 8 people.
Okay.
Not a very big boat.
Yeah.
It didn't go super fast or anything like that.
And did the tube actually, you said damaged, was it actually sliced or
No,
did it pop?
I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
They just told me the damage to the bottom of the tube.
Okay.
So there's a lot of the aspects of the accident that it doesn't, it's not like a burning desire for me to know.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is. It happened. I've moved way past that. I've actually never even seen the x-rays of me broken.
Oh, wow.
I've seen x-rays of me put back together.
Yeah.
Which, I have that on my phone and I look at it from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I kept some of the hardware when they took it out.
Oh,
Which
jeez.
is very
Souvenir.
odd. I mean, it was in me for over a year.
Yeah.
I feel like it's mine.
Yes,
at that
it
point.
is. You paid for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're in the boat and the accident happens. What actually happens to you guys
So
as you're just driving? As the driver's driving and you guys are in that tube.
yeah, so we're in the tube 1 minute, we're out of the tube the next. I've been in a lot of, I grew up on quads and stuff like that. And there have been moments in my life where my body knows that something bad is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I can hear what's happening, but my eyes are off. My motor functions are off. It's kind of like I'm just along for the ride. That's the position I was in. I just remember being in the water. People, are you okay? Are you okay? I found myself on the shoreline with my other 2 friends. One of the
So you were in the water and you fell on the shoreline, like on land.
I was in the water.
Okay.
And then I remember in my brain like crawling to the shoreline through the mud. I later was told, no, we brought you to the shore. Like people jumped in and brought me to the shoreline.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I got myself to the shoreline afterwards. Not a big deal. No, that's not what happened at all. But I know my parents' neighbor heard the accident. They heard the commotion, and they had not met. They were in that house for not a very long period of time, and their neighbors a few houses down heard the commotion. They were closer to where the accident was. We had to pass their house to get to where the accident happened, which was maybe 1,000 feet from the dock. Wasn't even that far. Kind of like how they say car accidents.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of car accidents happen
right there at home.
5 miles of the home or something like that. So they heard it, and she is a registered nurse.
Oh, wow.
So they immediately ran down to the dock, got on their pontoon boat, and they were out there.
Even her knowing what to do, what's instilled in nurses is when you see something, you go. The fastness of it.
Yeah.
So I was so lucky that she was in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
She was a nurse. Yeah.
Absolutely. They actually wound up using her boat to ferry us right across that cove. It's a pretty wide cove. Is a public boat ramp.
Mm-hmm.
So when the ambulance that was called, which the firehouse was about 4 miles away. When the ambulance was called and they came, they went right to the boat ramp.
Yeah, it was closer to go that way.
They ferried the paramedics to us on the pontoon and then ferried us back. But that's when I kind of was checking out.
Yeah.
The paramedics got to me. I knew that I was getting ready to go onto a backboard, and then I just kind of let myself, I was in and out.
Yeah.
I don't really remember there.
Were you in pain at that moment, or you just didn't really know what was happening?
Pure shock.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was. I knew something was bad.
Mm-hmm.
When I was laying on the shoreline, and the neighbor who's a nurse came over, she was like, "Please lay on your back. I want to check you out. I'm a nurse." And before she got there, I had reached down and felt my midsection, and kind of like when you lay on a bed and you lay on your back and your pants feel looser.
Yeah.
I felt like my pants were looser, and I reached down, and it's because my pelvis had broken. So it wasn't a ring anymore. It was kind of like a collapsed ring.
Yes. Oh my
So my
God.
shorts were loose on me.
Yep.
And I knew it was a problem. So I laid on my side and I told her, I said, I have one move in me, and it's when I roll onto a backboard.
Yeah.
And she said, it sounds like you've been through this before. And I said, I've been through enough to know
some accidents. Yeah.
that's the last move I have. And then I'm going to need morphine. Okay. Well, and she went and helped the other guys.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of a blur on the way to the hospital.
Yeah.
In and out.
And you were all in different ambulances.
Mm-hmm.
And were you all taken to the same hospital?
Yes. So there are 2 ambulances and a life flight.
Okay.
They all went to Richland Hospital in Columbia, South Carolina.
And you went in an ambulance.
I was in an ambulance. My friend, who's friends with my parents, he was in an ambulance, and then my friend who passed away, he was life flighted. They knew he was in a little bit more critical condition because he was unresponsive. So they called in the helicopter and they were like, "Get him over there."
Yeah. Was he alive at that moment?
So again, that's kind of,
you don't know. That's okay.
I from what I've been told, he was alive going to the hospital, but his brain activity, that was what was in question.
Yeah.
It was a traumatic brain injury, I believe, that took his life.
Yeah.
How it happened, I don't know, because I did see him on the shoreline.
Yeah.
I witnessed him with my own 2 eyes, and I didn't see anything out of place. I didn't see any bruising. He looked fine.
Right.
Like he looked better than everybody else.
Right. Yeah. It didn't even phase you in your head that was the ending.
I just looked at him and I was like, oh, he got knocked unconscious.
Right.
But unfortunately, he didn't wake up. But fortunately, from what I've been told, it was very quick.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have even known what happened.
Yeah.
I find a little bit of peace in that.
Certainly.
But, yeah, he was a great kid, very athletic, into action sports just like me.
Uh-huh.
Always laughing, always smiling. Life of the party.
Yeah.
The kid, great kid.
Yeah. Sounds like God wanted him.
Hey,
So, yeah. I mean, that sounds like he was a lovely human being.
He was. Absolutely. Lovely is the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
He was a very genuine soul.
Mm-hmm.
Very kind.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, even to have him in your life for that period of time too is special.
I feel blessed that I got to have any time with him.
Certainly. Yes, indeed. So we're all going to the hospital, the same one. I can't imagine. I mean, the hospital's certainly prepared for that, but having 3 trauma patients coming in and have to triage that. How did the experience go for you? Not to even put any reputation on the hospital at all by any means, but I'm just saying in general, were you conscious? Were you not? Did your family meet you there?
So I remember my mom meeting me there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very blurry.
Yeah.
I do know that at one point I was in and out of consciousness. My blood pressure kept dropping. They couldn't find a bleed because externally I had no wounds. I had like a cut on my knee and that was it.
Yeah.
So they couldn't figure it out. And I was told that I woke up and I said, I can hear it. My mom said, hear what? I said, I can hear dripping. And
interesting.
The doctor was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I was out. And my mom was like, listen, he knows his body. You got to do a scan or something. If he hears dripping, something's wrong. And they did, in fact, find like an oozing of a bunch of different smaller vessels that had burst across my pelvic floor. And that's why I kept bleeding out internally because I was losing blood pressure. But I wound up going into a medical coma for a few days because I had multiple different surgeries they had to do on my foot and ankle and my back. And
so it was medically induced.
Yeah.
They put you there. Okay.
Yeah, but the doctors there saved my life. It's known now as a different name, and that's why I called it Richland.
Yeah.
I knew it as Richland. It was changing hands, but the doctors there absolutely saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without them, I either wouldn't be here or definitely wouldn't be able to do physically what I can do now.
Yeah. Because you had internal bleeding and you broke your pelvis. Mm-hmm. And what else happened to you what were your injuries in addition to that?
I had my right foot was broken. I had broken toes, I believe. my heel, it's unclear how it happened, but my heel was jammed up into the bottom of my leg. So it split both leg bones out.
Holy mackerel.
Broke the bottom of my whole right foot was all messed up. Nerve damage there, nerve damage all the way down the back of my legs. My left leg was limited to no feeling or function. Broken. My pubic symphysis in the front of my pelvis had separated. And my sacral bones, S1 through S5, that connect the bottom of your spine to your pelvis, they had shattered and dislocated from my pelvis.
You weren't able to
I was
walk.
Basically in half.
Yeah.
Skeletally. If you looked at me from the outside, you couldn't tell because I had no external wounds.
Could you feel your legs when you were laying
right
there?
Away. No.
Initially?
When I first woke up, I don't remember feeling my legs. I could touch them with my hands, but if I felt anything, it was just like the top of my quads.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was about it.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So that sounds like a lot of injuries all at one time. Was that the most injuries that you've had at one time? Because I know that you've been with the motorcycles and stuff. Okay.
Oh, I also had a cracked T10 vertebrae. But it was just cracked, and every one of my injuries was an incomplete spinal cord injury.
Okay.
So as mangled as my spinal column was at the base by the S1 through S5, from there up, even at the fracture at the T10, none of it was a complete spinal cord injury. So that was
incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
just incredibly lucky. You know, and if it did go the other way, certainly, I mean, you would have a different lifestyle right now.
Oh, I would, yeah.
But that's wild. Just going from a pure happy place to not, and there was just nothing that steered you in that direction whatsoever, other than just pure happenstance. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so you're there. Your family's starting to pile in. It sounds like you were there in that hospital for how long?
I was in the hospital for a little over 2 weeks.
Okay.
There were just a lot of complications along the way. I had gone into shock at one point. I dive into the hospital a lot in my book, and I kind of lay it all out, everything that happened.
What's the name of your book?
For now, it's it could be something different. I'm not sure. I've changed it like 3 or 4 times. I'm not quite published yet, but Clarity After Chaos is what I think I'm settling towards that right now. But I was there for a little over 2.5 weeks, a lot of setbacks. And then I went from there, different step down units and ICU and all that. And I was on an intubator for a while, so I had to come off that. And then I went into the rehab facility on campus in the parking lot of Richland Medical Center, and I was there for a month.
Wow!
Because of, again, nerve issues and setbacks, and that was more brutal than the hospital. The hospital, because I was on so many drugs and my nerve damage was so bad, it wasn't as painful as when I went to the rehab facility and started moving, and my nerves started to regenerate, and then that's when the pain really came.
Yeah, and it was daily.
Sun up. I wouldn't even say sun up to sundown. 24 hours. It could hit at any time. It was always there, but I would have these spikes that were just. My dad would pack my legs in ice
because that was helpful.
Yeah. I don't know how, because I couldn't.
Yeah.
Externally feel the ice.
Yeah.
At that time,
but internally.
It definitely helped, and it was a long stay in that rehab facility. I couldn't wait to get out of there.
And did they have pain medicine there? I mean, obviously in the hospital. Okay.
Yeah. It was. I mean, they tried. I was on a lot of fentanyl at the beginning. I was on fentanyl for years.
Yeah.
And
let's take a moment for that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because a lot of times after people want pain medicine, and fentanyl in particular, kind of go down a dark path with medicine. Did that happen to you? Where are you with that now?
The only way I can describe it is I just don't have an addictive personality. And unfortunately, it's just either genetic or whatever it is. Some people are predisposed to it, and it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Some people just have that addictive person. The only thing in my life I ever would consider myself even close to the word addicted to is adrenaline.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. I've never been like, man, I really need a beer.
Yeah.
Or I really need this, or I really need that. That's the one thing. So for me, I wanted off so bad that my pain specialist even told me not to. He said, this might be the only thing keeping you from even worse pain.
Wow.
I really don't suggest it. I had a wedding up north and I needed to go to that wedding, not on painkillers. So I weaned myself off. I took myself off of them. I informed my pain specialist. He knew what was going on, and I was in talks with him. He was an absolutely phenomenal pain specialist. But I needed off. I couldn't do it anymore. It was constant up and down of withdrawals and night sweats and just feeling uncomfortable. And I
when it starts to become more bad than good, you kind of like, you know what, let's pull this out of our life. So it sounds like that's what you did.
The problem was I was still in pain. I was on way too much fentanyl.
Yeah.
I would go to doctors and they'd say, oh, we think it was a miss. I think the nurse wrote it down wrong. I said, no, that's what it is. And they would say, how'd you get here? I said, in a car. They said, how did you drive? I said, I'm still in pain. This isn't even helping me. And I was nervous that it was going to get worse when I came off of it, but it didn't really change at all. I was on all that medication.
Wow.
And the worst part of it was the withdrawals of coming off. And the pain was maybe 15% worse.
Yeah. No big deal after that, right?
I mean, with what I was already dealing with, it was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Cory. Okay. Let's go a little bit step further and kind of getting out. How far away was the wedding from the accident?
So the wedding I went to up north, a real good friend of mine, he got married in 2021, October of 2021. The accident happened the 1st of September in 2018. A lot happened in between those years. A lot of rehab, a lot of procedures and, hardware removed and stem cell therapy and just a lot of stuff.
And no walking.
And learning how to walk again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long were you down for and not walking? Like from the time of the accident?
It was a 3-month, no weight bearing, absolute, because I had all that hardware in me holding me together. And then it was 3 months. And then I started standing, but it was so painful. I could only really stand for about 10 or 20 seconds at a time. And then I couldn't even go to sitting because sitting was even more painful. So I had to go from standing to laying.
Okay.
So it took a long time to get to the point where I could just take a step.
Did they have equipment for that? Or did you have to go into sitting and then lay?
Just a rollator, a walker that has wheels on it and handbrakes. So I was 29 at that point using a walker,
that's a lot.
Pretty surreal.
It's such a lot. Yeah.
That was a sobering thing to have that wheeled in front of me. And I was like, okay, well.
Yeah. This is what's happening right now.
But because it was so painful for me to sit in a chair, the alternative was, okay, either use a chair and be in pain, or maybe if you can walk again someday, it'll be less painful than sitting in a chair.
Right.
I mean, even all these years later, this is 2025, and me sitting in this chair talking to you, I've been uncomfortable since 10 minutes of sitting here.
Okay. Well, let's.
No. I can block it out. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Now it used to be a lot worse, but
it's creeping up.
30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. I'm like, all right, I got to lay down for a minute.
Yeah.
Just take a break. Yeah.